Joining me on the news is the chairman of Nigerian Legion in Niger State, Mahmoud Buba. It's good to have you join us in the news at this hour.
Thank you very much. My name is Veteran Mahmoud Baba Ahmed, Chairman, Niger State Council.
Thank you so much for joining us. But first up, before we get to some of the stories that some of these widows have shared in that report, can I start with you? If you could, share with us a personal experience or your story from your time in service.
Quite all right. I experienced a lot during the Civil War. And when the Civil War ended, we still continue to serve the government. So after some times, we were nominated to attend courses in abroad, both home and abroad. And luckily, we succeeded. After that, I was able, I have to retire when I discovered that my service is no longer required by me, not by the government, not by the army. So I have to quit in 1990 to come and take care of the old woman, that is my mother. So I have to take that was why I discharged after 25 years. So since then, I have to look for something to survive. Because pension by then, it's nothing to talk about. So I have to involve in petty business, like commercial vehicle, house dealer, just to survive. So I think after that, then I perform some guard duties, just in the name to survive. Then I think that is all I can say about my experience during the army and after the army.
Oh, it's been really, of course, challenging for you, just like you said. I don't know if you could share with us, what really made you join the army, join the service? How did you feel when you were first enlisted?
In fact, it was terrible. So when I joined the army, I thought I would be showing out. I thought when we went for recruitment, but I was surprised I was recruited. Because by then I was very young, so I was recruited, and because I have interest. My brother went, my own senior brother went, but he was not recruited. But luckily for me, I was recruited. So from there, we have our training for about 6 months or so. Then they moved all of us to battlefield. So from there, we started battling with the Biafran army. So luckily for me, I survived. But most of my colleagues were nowhere to be found. Even the whole trailer, I can say, the whole trailer, we are following behind. The whole trailer full with army, they were all perished. So luckily for us, when we came, we only made their corpses. Some were taken to Kaduna, some were taken to other nearby hospital for treatment. In fact, I don't know where I was by then. Yes, I think that is all I can say about the experience I have. But the interest I have is to protect my dear country. That's how the zeal to join the army.
It's really inspiring to hear you talk about your service in the army, but we've seen that Nigeria has consistently celebrated and remembered, of course, our soldiers and our fallen heroes. And for you, what makes the Armed Forces Remembrance Day really significant?
Very, very significant. It's just to remember our fallen heroes. It makes us to remember those days when we are facing the battle and our colleagues were nowhere to be found. It's only a few of us now that we can see ourselves. So I think it's one of the things that we do remember them. And that is why when we remember them, we also, when we see their late ones, I mean the one they left behind, that is their wives, that is the widows, So when we look at them sometimes, we need to help them when it arises.
When we first started commemorating the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, of course, the nation's leaders thought that at that time it would heal the wounds of war. From your perspective, do you think these wounds inflicted on warring sides have healed over time?
Can you come again, please?
As at the time when our leaders thought that we should commemorate the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, they thought that it would heal the wounds of war. Do you think, from your perspective, that these wounds inflicted on warring sides have healed over time?
I don't think it will heal time, because what we are expected, we are not getting it. That is to take care of the disabled. You know, we have those that are disabled,
yeah,
and no, there is no proper care for them. Even the NHS, that is the military insurance, health insurance, there's nothing to talk about. So I think it has not healed our body.
And if you be saying something to the government, what would you be saying in 30 seconds?
In that circumstance, the Chief of Staff teams, Army Chief of Staff teams visited us about a month ago. He assured us that things will change. So there will be an improvement as far as the present military administration is concerned. So they will really take care of all the complaints tabled against him when he came. He represented the Chief of Army Staff.
It's really interesting just to hear you talk about how passionate you are or you were about the military. Chairman, Nigerian Legion in Niger State, Mahmoud Buba. Thank you so much for sharing your experience
Not Buba,
with
Baba.
us. Buba. Thank you so much.
Baba.
Baba. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you very much.
We are still watching TVC News this hour. We'll take a moment and then return with more stories. Stay with us.